We are roughly halfway through the 2024 NBA Summer League, and Bub Carrington has completely stolen the show for the Washington Wizards. So what I want to do in this video is talk about how Bub has been so good and kind of break down what he's been doing to get his game off so far in Summer League. Before I get started, I am Tyler, aka Wanzo TV. Be sure to like the video and let's get into it. Firstly, taking a look at Bub's stats through 3 Summer League games, he's put up 19 points per game, what is effectively 6 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game on 36, 43, 82 splits. Now the first part that I want to tackle with Bub's game is just his overall shot making he's put on display this Summer League. Now in my opinion, pre-draft, Bub's biggest strength was his ability to make shots, so seeing a guy who is billed as a shot maker come into Summer League and make shots isn't the most surprising thing in the world. It's definitely not a bad thing either and is super encouraging. What's popped to me the most is Bub's 3-point shot making. Although I think he's always carried that shooter title, in college he only shot 32%, so seeing him come into the Summer League, even though it's only 3 games, very small volume, and shoot 40%, 42%, 43% is super cool to see. And the versatility of how Bub's been making these threes is also super impressive to me. He's made some threes off the catch, which is super encouraging because I think he'll do a lot more of that in the NBA. He's got a very strong base, which makes shooting off the catch that much easier. And while I think this of all his 3-point attempts is the lowest in percentage, he's made a couple step back threes. And his most deadly look, in my opinion, is when he's coming off screens off the dribble and he's rising up. When he rises up for his jumpers, he is getting extremely high. I can't stress this enough. It's not super important. You don't necessarily have to, but Bub gets super high. It's very hard to block. It's just a very high percentage shot for him coming off screens, especially from the 3-point line. Now, if there was one thing that you could kind of harp on Bub Carrington's offensive game about pre-draft, it was his inability to put consistent pressure on the rim. Now, I bring that up because I think Bub has actually been pretty solid at that so far in this Summer League. So, looking this play as an example, if we look here, Bub's bringing up the ball, obviously guarded by Reed Sheppard, who's a pretty good defender in his own right. Now, Bub's biggest problem with putting pressure on the rim is that he doesn't have the most athletic first step. He isn't the most strongest guy in the world, so when it comes to getting around defenders, that can be a bit of a hardship for him. But what I think he's kind of learning, even just from when his college season ended at Pittsburgh into Summer League, is that he has a very shifty handle and he's very agile with the ball, and he can use that to his advantage to make up for what he lacks physically. So if we look here, Bub catches Reed on a beautiful little hezzy through the legs. And look how Reed's sitting up. Reed is on his toes a little bit. You can see how he's on his toes and he's leaning forward. That is not a good defensive position if you're Reed Sheppard. So Bub has the advantage, which kind of evens the playing field. So if I can't get by you physically and you're going to be able to stop me that way, then what I can do to even the playing field is use my handle to get you off your feet, get you off balance, so we can kind of play more of a chess match and I can get this bucket. So then if we finish this play here, Bub goes right around Reed, and granted he does miss this layup, but we'll worry about that later. What's important is that he put pressure on the rim, and that's something good for him because let's say Cam Whitmore helped down. That's a bucket for Keyshawn over here. So him putting pressure on the rim like this is a very good sign to see, especially this early in Summer League. Very encouraging stuff. Now another aspect of Bub's offensive game that I think he's been really strong at is his ability to play make and set up the offense for others. Bub is just a very cerebral basketball player, and whether it's coming up, off of other teams miss, off of other teams make, he does a very good job at setting the team up, letting everyone get into their spots so they can run a set action or just kind of go on the fly. He's just very good at calming down the team and setting it up, and I think it all relates back to his feel for the game. Now this was a play that stuck out a lot to me as showcasing Bub's feel for the game. So as you can see here, we're making a defensive play, Gino Marui gets a hand in, and it's a loose ball, and Gino's hopping on it. So if you're Bub Carrington here, all you're thinking is that Gino's going to roll over on the side, pass me the ball, and I'm just going to bring it up like a normal play. But that's not the case. If we look, Gino Marui gets it, and as you can see, Nikola Duricic right there is lurking, Grand Theft Auto style. He's waiting for this careless pass so he can come in and steal it. And as you can see, that play shows out, and boom, Duricic makes the jump for it, and the ball's in the air. Bub's hands are out, but the ball's in the air. And Bub is, for the first time, looking at Duricic. That whole play, he had his back turned to him. He did not see Duricic there. So in a split second, Bub has to make a decision. Bub has to make a play based off his feel. And what he does here is not significant to this game at all. It really didn't even matter. But what this shows me is that Bub has this thing that you can't teach. This is the feel for the game part of basketball that you can't teach guys. When that ball's in the air, he has a split second to react. And what does he do? He makes a beautiful play. Like it might seem corny, I might seem like I'm gassing it, but this is really what makes a good basketball player. The ability to make reads just off instincts. That had nothing to do with what he saw. That was just pure basketball instincts. And you can see here how he finishes the play off. He gets it, loses it, gets an up to Justin Champagnie, and that's a bucket. And that's strictly based off of his feel. He could have turned that over. Some other point guards turn that over, not Bub Carrington, because he has that feel for the game that you cannot teach. He's identifying things before they happen. He's looking this way. He knows this guy's about to cut. So when he drives in, he can find whoever's cutting right there. And I think that shows itself a lot in the passes, in the assists that he gets. Then really quick, I did want to talk about Bub's defense. I've been thoroughly impressed with how Bub's looked on the defensive end of the ball. I didn't know coming in if he would necessarily be a strong defender or if it would be more of a weakness. And I feel pretty confident in saying he's never going to be a real true liability on the defensive side of the ball. If I had to nitpick something, there was some moments where he didn't navigate around screens the best, some screen nav issues, but for the most part, I've been pretty impressed with Bub Carrington on the defensive side of the ball. Another part of Bub's game that I guess I was just unfamiliar with was look at him. He's been active on the board. Look at him grab this board here. End of the third quarter, coming down, AJ Griffin gets a shot, and boom! Oh my, it's a 6'5" guard getting up for a rebound like that. That is, I don't want to disrespect Russ because Russ is 1 of 1. But this is Russell Westbrook-esque getting a board like this, snagging it out of the air. I might sound like I'm glazing a bit here, but that is a ridiculous board. But yeah, that is where I'm at with Bub Carrington at the current moment. I hope I kind of gave you some clarity about what he's doing so good. If you've just seen his stat lines at different places and you want some context behind the numbers, I hope I kind of did that for you. And I showed why Bub Carrington is looking like he's going to be such a steal. But that is going to be the video, so make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment down below if you agree what you've seen from Bub. I want to hear everything you guys have to say. So let me know down below. I got a bunch of more stuff coming around the Wizards, around the NBA with Summer League coming in. There's a certain Wizard that I also want to talk about, a certain Wizards rookie that I want to talk about. But yeah, I'll get to that. But yeah, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you guys later. This is Tyler, aka Wanzo TV.